You're listening to the Heroes Power presented by BlizzPro.com. Your host, Balrog fan Zexorus and DJ Tyrant. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Heroes Power, episode 91. This is your Heroes of the Storm podcast brought to you by BlizzPro.com and also partnered with Legion by Lenovo and Intel. I am your host, DJ Tyrant. With me is the always awesome crew, and we'll get the introductions out of the way. And why don't we combine your week in gaming with the intros? We'll do that. We'll start with Balrog fan. How are you doing? I know you've been speedrunning a lot of things and playing Heroes.
Yeah, I've been doing a healthy diet of both. I need to mix in more Heroes, but I just kind of started the speedrunning thing, so I'm really kind of diving head deep into speedrunning Shining Force and some light Mega Man. Right now it's more safe strats and trying to improve on my time. You can always check that out at twitch.tv/BalrogFan. I'm on most days. It's fun. I got a little system set up in there where you can level up, and a bot will react to certain things you say, and you can, the longer you're in chat, you can earn points and make me do things. So
there you go.
Heroes, I got to play Diablo. Yeah, well, whatever's on there. I'm open to suggestions too. But I got to play Diablo after the patch, which we will be talking about later. But I'm guessing he probably needed those nerfs because he still feels pretty good. So. But yeah, I played 2 games with Diablo, got MVP twice with Diablo, so I'm feeling pretty good about Heroes these days.
So you're just like an expert at Diablo now?
I am so good at it, guys. Sign me up for HGC because I'm the best Diablo. NA.
Just make sure he gets Diablo.
Yeah,
anyone else.
Skill level drops off sharply.
Yeah.
Screwed if he doesn't get Diablo.
Yeah, just a quick Diablo ban. Got him.
So you're like Zuna?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
A little bit well adjusted though.
Oh my goodness. P Flame G, how about you?
I think I've gone like 10 and 20 last week in Heroes. I have lost a lot. But I played a lot of Heroes, so I guess that's a good thing. I'm just not very good at it right now. Mildly frustrating. Just keep losing games. Some like horrible drafts where we had like Lili, Chen, Karazim, Vala, Arthas on Battlefield. I don't know how anyone thought that was a good composition at all.
Oh man, that sounds awful.
Other times I just, I play bad and I lose the game. I played one game as ETC versus Diablo. I was like, man, I'm getting blown up every time. Diablo's so tanky. And then I played another game as Diablo versus ETC, and I was like, man, I'm getting blown up all the time. I must just be bad.
So,
well, did they have shields on their team?
Meta?
Oh, what?
Did they have shields on their team? Is the question.
No.
Okay.
But nobody's drafting shields right now because everybody's dumb.
No one watches HGC apparently.
Yeah.
Have you been losing to Nazebo meta?
I've lost to like 1 Nazebo, maybe 2.
Digi was telling me he's a great counter pick right now because that 13 talent. He played it against somebody that didn't have any auto attack, and they couldn't kill him. Nazebo felt like a tank.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Superstition will do that.
All right. Well, Zex, how about you? How has your week been in Heroes and gaming in general?
I'm practicing. I got Charlie started on the speedruns because he was watching me speedrun Phantasy Star 4 for the Genesis, which I'm working on. And I suggested he do Shining Force. So I've been working on that, and it's slowly getting better and better as time goes on. Still haven't finished a run yet, but I'll get there. I played a total of 3 games of Heroes, and got tilted to the point where I caused another ice age.
I was
There
there.
you go.
You what?
My heat went out.
Like I hadn't played all week.
Oh my gosh.
I hadn't played all week, and my mechanics it showed like badly. Like I expect to die a few times on Kerrigan, but like 7-8 deaths is like simply excessive at any point for me. So, and then it just kind of went downhill from there. I mean, I think we won like 2 of the games, and then like the last game, I just got like planetary level tilted, and Zuno wishes he could hit this level of tilt.
Oh my goodness.
And I didn't say anything. I just just ended, quit out of Skype and just went to bed.
Happens
So,
sometimes.
I've got to get back to playing more as much as I used to, and just get back into the swing of the mechanics of the game.
We played a lot in November, especially you.
Yeah, that's when I was like in full swing of the challenge, the Master All Heroes challenge and stuff, and my mechanics definitely reflected that. Like I felt smooth on everything I did, and last night I just felt clunky and just awful in general.
That is when you picked up Kerrigan, right?
Yeah.
During the challenge.
Yep.
And Tracer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
I forgot I played. Yeah.
You got on all sorts of aggressive
I have
heroes.
A tracer. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I need to get back in and just like start playing Chen again.
Yeah, we haven't seen the Willie Chen in a while. As for me though, I played a little bit more heroes than I thought I did last week, because I hopped on Wednesday and I was just expecting to solo queue or play Hero League or something. But J-How pulled me into a group and we just dunked on people in quick match. It was pretty fun. He really likes playing Artanas, and so he just put me on Malf, and yeah, that was pretty fun. The swaps into roots, pretty good strategy, I have to say. And also, like, this is very much a humble brag, but J-How said my Malfarian was pretty good. And any of us who have played with J-How knows he's pretty critical of people's plays. He's not afraid to call people out. So, but yeah, when everything's on in a group and you're just hitting all the right notes in a match, it feels really good in a game like Heroes. So
for sure,
that was basically my week in Heroes. But let's go into HGC as we had another weekend of awesome matches. Really quickly, I do want to shout out Jay once again. Make sure to check out. He put a YouTube video together. It's about 20 minutes long. It's Sports Center style about everything from HGC Week 2 over on his channel. I think he's J-How Gaming on YouTube, but check out J-How Gaming on Twitter to make sure I have that right. But anyways, HGC, NA, and EU completed. Let's talk quickly through results. Tempo versus Freedom, 3-2. Tempo winning that series. Superstars versus No Tomorrows. No Tomorrow, Superstars won that 3-1. Tempo versus B-Step. Tempo came out on top 3-0. Naventic versus No Tomorrow. Naventic came back from 0-2 down that series to win it 3-2. And then Gale Force versus Team Freedom. Team Freedom with an upset. I think one of the biggest upsets so far of HGC wins the series 3-2. Team 8 versus Superstars. Team 8 comes out on top 3-0. So,
other than everybody's expectations of Team 8, that Team Freedom win over Gale Force was biggest.
No, I agree.
Team Freedom did really well this week, though, because they took Tempo to 5 games, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've recovered pretty well. They've got a respectable road ahead of them. They're obviously not reflecting that in their rankings at the moment, but with a win over one of the better teams, I mean, it can only go up from there, hopefully.
All I need to know is, did anybody call Equinox a doctor? Because he was clearly choking by the end of that set.
Oh, yeah. He had a game with Muradin where he looked absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, I was watching his Muradin play. I'm like, why are you trying to jump after ETC slides in? You know he's holding the pinball. He's just you're ruining your jump. I mean, yeah, sure, get the resistant, but dude, wait for the pinball, then jump.
Yeah.
So, but Gale Force versus Freedom, just That I didn't see coming. I fully I fully expected Gale Force just to raffle stomp their way to like the easiest win.
Yep.
I started to believe when they picked that weird Lost Vikings strat. When Gale Force went with that weird Lost Vikings strategy and just fed them an easy match. I really started to believe in Team Freedom because the series started off 1-1, and then Gale Force promptly came back and went up 2-1. And they're like, oh, let's try this Brexis holdout Lost Vikings strategy, and it's really different for them, and it just never looked like it was doing anything right. And when they dropped that match, I really was kind of excited. I wanted to see Gale Force lose at that point, and I was pretty hyped that they did.
Yeah, I unfortunately missed that series. I want to kind of go back and watch and see why in the world they picked Vikings, because that'll be interesting to see. But I have to say, for me, the series that was most exciting for me was Naventic winning 3-2 over No Tomorrow, because I literally wrote them completely off after those first two games. Because they just got trashed in those first two games, and then they clawed their way back in, and I feel like it was No Tomorrow just throwing that series away, because they absolutely had that in their clutches there, and I don't know. Naventic still doesn't impress me right now, but that's good. It is good for them to get a win on the board, so at least they don't occupy the bottom spots of HGC and A, but that series was pretty solid.
Let's not mince words here. Naventic looked like garbage.
Yeah, No Tomorrow just looked worse.
Yeah, it was like that episode of South Park where the kids are playing baseball, and it's who wants to lose more.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's how Naventic feels.
I feel like at some point after the second loss, Naventic, somebody in that group said, "Are we going to be the ones to give No Tomorrow their first win?" And they played like, "No, we're not going to do that," because No Tomorrow looks like they could go winless the rest of the way sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
looking rough.
Naventic. Yeah, but they
lost to Freedom, right?
They haven't won one yet. Yeah, they lost to Freedom. That sounds right.
So they've lost to all of the bottom, to most of the bottom tier teams at this point.
Yeah,
can't call my boys Freedom bottom tier like that.
Well, nobody's calling Freedom top tier, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we were calling Gale Force top tier.
Well, we definitely were calling Team 8 top tier a couple weeks ago.
No, I mean, okay. Speaking about Team 8, that series,
Tempo.
Yeah, they did. That series against Superstars that Team 8 had, I mean, they just put on a freaking clinic. Superstars, I know they're known as kind of the cheese team, but I really did not understand that Cho'Gall pick on Praxis at all.
Yeah, what was that about?
They were listening to Dreadnought, and they were like, man, he keeps calling for something, we got to impress him.
And then immediately gets killed.
The concept
he really
behind
wants us to win the video game.
And then Cho'Gall gets immediately. Oh my goodness! Then Cho'Gall gets immediately killed.
Into the root.
Yeah, immediately gets killed in the first 2 minutes of the game, and Dredd just can not say any words at all. He's just laughing, and Gilly's just I'm sure if they had put the camera on, Gilly was just holding her breath and not wanting to laugh as well, but it was 2 minutes of just Dredd laughing, basically trying to say anything. But that whole series was just a disaster for Superstars.
Yeah, and Dark Lakehouse in chat brings up a good point. Team Freedom's new. The fact that what they did in week 2 is very impressive. They have room to grow, and they're showing that they can at least compete with the supposed big names of NA. So. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now, on that note, does that say the same thing about Team 8? Sure, they're all old school players, but they're bringing, I feel, an entirely different strategy to their drafting. I mean, you saw
the strategy of Glaurung learning more than 2 heroes. Yeah, it's been great.
You saw what Glaurung did to people in Medivh in week 1. Why would you let him ever have that hero again? Because
it's definitely surprising.
Their part. It's just bad drafting on their opponents.
Yeah, that's true. But
And the
like,
real
I'm
test
sure
will
they
come
have
this week.
they have several mutations of a Medivh strat to work around.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
agree with Balrog fan there. This next week is going to be a huge test for them. We're going
Oh
to
God.
talk about that a little bit later, but they're basically in the thick of the best that NA has right now. And but to be fair, Team 8 is 9-1 in their games.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
They've looked dominant. Like there's no way around it. They haven't played they haven't had that highlight match where they've dominated a really established team, but they made it through. They got to HGC. They had a big roster shakeup with Chew 8 deciding to go full-blown diva right before the tournament starting and trying to make it all casual. And they said, we're going to respond to this. We're ready. We want to play. We're taking this seriously. And here they are, undefeated at the top of the leaderboard. So
Mm-hmm. And with that, let's actually move on to EU, as we had them playing this week as well. And we still get to have Caleris, which makes me happy.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah, another week of Caleris
Another
will be
week of
good.
Caleris is awesome. Dignitas solidified their position at the top of EU, 3-0ing Synergy, playing Ducks 3-1 B Genius. Team Dignitas went 3-0 over Tricked Esports, and Misfits went 3-1 over Plain Ducks. Fnatic went 3-0 over Synergy, and then Team Expert went 3-0 over B Genius. So no series went more than 4 games, and 4 of them went 3-0. So they were pretty lopsided this week. Did anything stick out for any of you guys from this weekend? No, Brog fan, you're riding that Team Expert train pretty hard.
Playing Ducks won a game.
Yep.
Yeah, they did win a game.
No
They
longer
changed their name
Woods.
from whatever they were, Team
Diamond
Diamond or
Skin.
something. Yeah, Diamond Skin.
And now they
No
got
longer
sponsored
Woodskin.
by somebody running out of an esports team out of his basement, or I mean, I don't know. I've never heard of Playing Ducks. They could be big. It's EU.
No idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
But-
never heard of Playing Ducks either. The most I heard about that org was they're based out of Germany.
Okay.
But yeah, they beat B Genius, and these are, like I said, these are games that actually matter for Playing Ducks because you have to be able to beat the lower tier teams to get out of the relegations.
Yeah.
So you stay in HGC for another season. So the ability to beat a B Genius, even though they can't take a win off of Dignitas, is important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you're not wrong
absolutely. I was wrong though. Team Expert, they're 9-0 overall. What? I know, Bauer fan, you've been watching a lot of them and you've become a big fan of them. What are they doing differently than other teams? Is their drafting, their rotations? Like what is it that they're able to accomplish?
Well, I'd say, I mean, and look, I love this team because they stick to their guns. They draft with a strategy and they really employ it throughout the game, and they don't deviate from it. They seem untiltable and they play very well. That being said, they haven't really played anybody that great yet. They're another team that's getting a test this week to see if they deserve their 3-0, much like Team 8. But I mean, they've looked really good beating up on the teams that they played against, and ADRD is just amazing. So he's a lot of fun to watch, and I'm really, really glad that he seems to have finally found like a really good spot for him on this
He's
team.
bounced a lot.
Yeah, he's been all over the place, and right now he looks at home on Team Expert. Like that match where they played against they played against B Genius. B Genius, not a good team. No one's going to mistake them for a good team. They don't look good. They're kind of dreadful in most of the matches they've been in. But they came out the strongest they've ever been in a Tomb of the Spider Queen match. And they had Murden really just going to town. And B Genius drafted to take care of Murden, knowing that once they got Murden, they would be able to roll. And once they were able to finally get Murden, it was like auto core right there. They never got away from that strategy, despite being behind the whole game, pretty much. So it's very refreshing to watch a team like that, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And EU has actually been pretty exciting. The names that you kind of expected, minus I would say Expert, are up there in the top 4. Fnatic, Dig, and Misfits are all playing pretty darn well. Misfits as well is 3-0, so they're occupying that same number one spot basically with Team Expert, but I think they break it down by game win losses. So I think Team Expert is considered the number one team in HGC EU right now. But really good week for Heroes once again with HGC EU and NA happening, and that was really exciting. And that actually prompted our good friend P-Flame G to put something together. I'll throw this up onto the screen here for our viewers to see it. If you're watching the audio version, you want to check this out, check out the VOD, youtube.com/BlizzHeroes. But P-Flame G put together a nice little MMR bracket here, and why don't you take it away?
Yeah, so I just got the idea to, what if I made calculated a rough estimate of MMR for these teams, where I would take into account, adjust it so if you beat a team that you were supposed to lose against, you get extra points. If Dignitas beats, I'm blanking on names right now, B Genius, then they don't get a whole lot of points. And the number of games it goes to is taken into account. So just with that information, I threw together an equation that has no research into it, where everybody starts with 500 MMR, and whenever you win a game, baseline, you get 50 points, and the other team loses 50 points. And the differential between the MMRs, you divide that by 10, and that'll adjust the points. So if you're 100 over them and you win, there's 10 points cut off of that. So each team gets 50 or loses 50. And you lose 5 points for every game past 3. So if you beat a team that you're 100 points ahead of, and it goes to 5 games, then you only get 30 points and they only lose 30 points. If you beat a team that's 100 points ahead of you in 3 games, then you'll get 60 points, and they'll lose 60 points. So
can I stop you real quick?
Go ahead.
This already sounds better than matchmaking.
Oh my goodness.
Please continue.
So then I put together a program to kind of automatically calculate these things. Then I put them on a spreadsheet that's on your screen right now. And so far, when Blizzard puts up their teams in a list, mine has lined up with their standings. So it's at least close to whatever they're using to differentiate. Because they're taking game score and stuff into account, which is what I'm trying to do mathematically. So you can kind of see GFE took a big hit when they lost to Team Freedom, and Team Freedom bumped significantly up. They're 20 points ahead of Naventic, even though they have the same record, because they beat GFE, and Naventic hasn't beat anybody with a positive record yet, I don't think. And there's a...
That's why Expert's second there, too, because, like I said, they haven't really played anything. Misfits have been playing out of their mind.
Yeah, Misfits has beaten some better teams than Expert has, so they're a little bit ahead. So I think this next week has some more of these top-tier matches where, Temple Storm and Team 8 are going to fight, and that's really going to put some dent in one of their MMRs and shoot the other one up way high. So... It's something I was interested in trying to track, because you always say, oh, well, they're 2-1, but their strength of schedule isn't all that good and whatever. At the very start of the season, we're 2 weeks in. This isn't super, solidified because everybody started equally. And so it's had 2 weeks to kind of adjust itself.
That's the thing about MMR systems is they get better as you get more games in there, get more data populating through there. So... it'll be
so when we're 4 or 5 weeks in, this should be a pretty good kind of way to look at the different strengths of the teams. And even right now, when I look at it, I don't think it's too far off of how I'd evaluate the teams based on how they're playing right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment.
I might. Yeah, it's pretty close. I think personally, I would rank GFE over Superstars, but that's because of past experience, and that this isn't taking into account anything before HGC. So losing Team Freedom is what this table knows, and that's why they're lower.
Yeah, exactly.
And by this table, Tricked Out Esports is slightly more of a dumpster fire than No Tomorrow. So
yeah, 0.9 MMR lower.
We don't have the worst team go NA.
Oh my goodness.
But according to Carl's little MMR here, we also have the best team in Team 8 by a full 10 points.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Which is interesting to me because I would like to see Misfits and Team Expert go up against Team 8. I would love to see how that would turn out.
Well,
Yeah.
we're like
about to Heroes
4 or 5 weeks away from the America's Brawl or whatever they're called, mid-season brawls. They're coming up pretty quickly here.
That's gonna be so hype.
Those are gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
So-
and one of our chatters makes a really good point.
Mhm.
Top teams are using HGC to experiment. They're not playing their full hand. The bottom teams are going all out because they need to stay afloat. You don't want to go into the break bottom two because you're going to be playing teams who are going to be on fire coming out of the open. So that's a great point, I think.
Yeah, but I mean the the weird thing about that right now is I would have put Naventic and Beast up as some of those teams that can just try stuff out and they're fine and they're, I mean, like you said, they might be losing because they're trying things out, but right now it almost looks like they don't have that freedom. Like they need to start trying.
You know who does have that freedom? Team
Stop!
Freedom.
Stop! No.
I haven't even told my joke yet.
I saw it coming from a mile away.
That wasn't even my joke for the night.
Yeah, the joke's always for the gameplay.
Oh, ouch. Anyways,
No, that wasn't that big. But I wish it was now. I wish I had
my
just said
goodness.
that. All right. Anyways,
yeah, really quickly, forgot to mention this last week, but we did get this announced. It is the Heroes Charity Brawl, so go ahead and make sure to check out heroescharitybrawl.com. I will be involved representing the Heroes Powerhour here, and we're just going to be playing a lot of games for charity, benefiting the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So make sure to check that out. That will be on February 25th at 2 p.m. Pacific. You can already go and donate heroescharitybrawl.com and join the rest of the podcast participating, which is Lords of the Storm, our good old friends over there, Into the Nexus, Heroes Power, Hotscast, and Core. Scott Johnson over at Core will be hosting the event over on his Frog Pants TV channel, twitch.tv/frogpants. So schedule some time out on your Saturday. Check it out. It'll be a really fun time. We've been playing some really cool, fun matches. I think we're going to play a little bit with the custom games and modifiers and see if we can come up with something fun for people to play and to watch. So I hope you can make it out to that. And if you can, definitely donate. And we're getting a little help from Blizzard. They'll be helping promote the stream, and we might have something special. I don't know, to be determined soon. But yeah, make sure to check it out. It'll be a lot of fun, a lot of great podcasts and personalities there, and for a very worthy cause with Make-A-Wish Foundation. So on to now the picks for next week. This is going to be fun. I'm really excited we started doing this. We'll show where the points lie right now. But Powerhour, I'll start with you.
Hold on, let me jump in here real quick.
Go for it. Go for it.
Do our viewers and podcast listeners even know what we're doing? Have we explained the point? No,
Explain it.
Okay.
Yeah. Please explain what we're doing.
Okay, Powerhour, why don't you explain it? Because you're the one who really came up with this and championed this idea, and I absolutely love it. So go for it.
All right, every week we go into the games and we pick who will win and who will lose. We also guess what the match total will be at the end. 3-2, 3-0, 3-1, whatever. If you pick the correct winner, you get 1 point. If you pick the correct winner and the correct match total, like I say Team Expert is going to win 3-0, and that pretty much always happens, so it's great. And I get an additional 2 points, which means if you pick the correct match and the correct match total, you get 3 points. And yeah, not picking the winner is obviously 0 points. And we've got a cool little spreadsheet. Jimmy will probably be throwing up here in a bit that shows where we're standing right now. Mm-hmm. We'd also decided to include something which is optional for the picker, and that's starting this week. And we actually didn't start the picks till week two.
Two, yeah.
We just kind of came up with this idea. That's why the point totals are low. We're not that bad at picking matches. But we've also decided to add in something into week 3 called the Lock of the Week. Now, you can choose one match if you want to. Make it the Lock of the Week. If you're correct, you get 2 points. If you're correct and you pick the match total, you get 5 points. And if you're wrong, you lose 3 points. So, Lock of the Week is a risky thing that you can do when you're picking.
So is the Lock of the Week only, is it per region or for overall between NA and
only
EU?
one game per week. NA,
Okay.
EU. You cannot get one per region. You have to be.
Hey, Charlie, don't
Yes.
be a chicken and just go 3-0 expert lock.
I mean, if I think they're a lot,
Those would be bold picks right now. They're playing Dig and Fnatic this week.
I'm not gonna. That's not a serial candidate. Like I said, I love the team, but they got to beat somebody first. But yeah. Anyways, that's what we've been doing. Like Jimmy will probably throw up the graphic soon, and you guys can see where the point totals are. But anyways, what we're gonna do is Jimmy will name the matchup. We'll all go around and make our picks, so it's easy for me to keep track of, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, so there we go. I did throw up the graphic there. We do have Powerhour fan and myself at 15 points apiece. We were actually watching that last game. It was between Team 8 and Superstars. And if it had gone 3-1, I would be in the lead right now. But since it went 3-0, Powerhour fan got the points there and tied me up at the top. Zexus at 14 and PFlameG at 11. And I think that was because he didn't pick one game.
I did not vote on one game.
Yeah.
But given I'm bad at match scores, I'd probably at most be 12 points.
And the only reason I'm in, I guess, third, the only reason I have 14 points is because last week I hate picked against Team Expert. And I could have very easily just said 3-0 Expert, and I would be in the lead. But I have to be contrarian.
This is
That
true.
you do.
Also, to be fair, Carl didn't know we'd be scoring these.
Yeah,
So I feel like
we
it's
made this
like,
up after the show last week. We're like, hey, what if we like kept track and like made it a fun thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Okay.
we kind of screwed Carl over, but I mean, look, come on, he deserves it.
Oh,
Make a pick.
make a pick. Yeah, we'll force you to make picks this week. So starting in NA, we have B Step versus No Tomorrow. I'll start with you, Balcran.
Nope, don't start with me.
Okay, Zex.
B Step versus No Tomorrow. B Step 3-1.
PFlameG.
Same as Willie. B Step 3-1.
Yeah.
You ready, Powerhour fan?
B Step 3-0.
I'm going to take B Step 3-2. I think this is the week they finally get their win under their belt that they so desperately need, but I think No Tomorrow takes it to them. All right, next match, Superstars and Gale Force Esports. I'm going to go 3-0 Gale Force here. Last week was a shaky, but merely a setback.
I don't know. The thumbnail for week 2 by the VODs on the HGC website shows Mike getting blown up on on Vikings. So,
oh my gosh! All right, well,
let's see. I'll say. Actually, I'm gonna say Superstars 3-2.
all righty. PFMG,
Gale Force 3-2.
Powerhour fan. Furiously typing in our scores.
Yeah, I will go with. I feel like Gale Force really is going to come out and just assert their dominance and probably go 3-0 here.
Alrighty.
All right.
That ends up the Friday game. Saturday, we have Team Freedom and Naventic. Jeez, this is a tough series to call. I'm gonna say 3-2 Naventic. I think Naventic has gotten their head screwed back on, and they're gonna take this series. Zex?
3-0 Freedom. Lock it up.
He's
Oh my
locking the
goodness.
3-0 Freedom.
There we go.
Oh, freedom.
Fly the Eagles. Freedom's got this easy.
PFlameG.
3-1 Freedom, not a lock.
Uh,
But I do think they're going to keep performing, and the event is going to keep choking.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty.
Yeah, I think this will be Freedom 3-2.
Alrighty. And the next match on Saturday is going to be a really great one. Tempo Storm versus Team 8. I will say 3-2 Team 8. And they're going to be looking really strong and look to really assert themselves at the top of NA. Zex?
That is a hard. My heart is really telling me to pull for Team 8. I can't do it though. You know what? Yes, I can. 3-1 Team 8.
There you go. P-Flame G.
I'm going to say 3-2 Tempo. I think Team 8's had a relatively easy schedule, and Tempo has shown some weakness against some certain opponents, but I think they're going to... This is their only match this weekend. They're going to put the effort into it, and they're going to win.
Alrighty.
For that reason, this is my lock of the week. 3-1 Tempo.
There you go.
And there you have it. Sunday's NA games start us off with a bang with Gale Force Esports against Team 8. I will put this in at 3-1 in favor of Team 8. Zex.
Really? 3-1 Team? No. Gale Force likes going all 5 games, so I'm going to say 3-2 in favor of Team 8. Team 8 emerges the top team in NA because Galrong knows 4 heroes now. You can't completely ban or pick him out at this point.
There you go. P-Flame G, how about you?
I'm going to say 3-2 Team 8. I think they're better. From what I can tell, they appear better than Gale Force. I think they're the second best team in NA. But this could very easily go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Gale Force is going to be angry this week, but they're still not going to roll over this team. That being said, Gale Force 3-2.
There you go. And the final game for week 2 of North America is going to be B-Step against Team Freedom. I have Team Freedom taking this 3-2.
Willie?
Sorry, I got distracted in my head.
That's good. We're only podcasting.
Team Freedom 3-0.
Carl?
I'm going to give it to B-Step 3-2. They're going to have to step up to do this. But I believe.
B step up?
Yeah.
They're going to have to B-Step up.
Oh, my goodness.
Wish.
Lob the softball for him.
Freedom 3-1. B-Step is garbage. Just
B-Step hasn't looked good. I just really, really want them to be good.
I want them to be good, too. Moving on to EU, our Friday games are Playing Ducks against Tricked Esports. 3-1 Playing Ducks. Zex.
I can't fault you.
Is this like those like kindergarten fight club?
The underground kindergarten fight club.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Playing Ducks finally won one. I'm gonna say Playing Ducks 3-2.
And along Zex's train of thought, has anybody seen the NALCS Ren Dig game where 2 people get executed by Tower and then 30 seconds later 2 people get executed by Rift Herald?
No, but
Meaning they just like died a boss equivalent type thing?
Yeah.
Except for it's weaker than boss?
Okay.
It was awful. It was the worst professional game I've ever seen. This has the potential to be that. That said, I think 3-2 Playing Ducks.
3-2 Ducks.
Jeez. Wow. Okay. Bauer fan, how about you?
All right. I think that Tricked Out Esports is not good. Like really not good. Ducks has at least shown signs of belonging.
Are we talking no tomorrow not good or
as bad?
Okay.
As bad. So we're gonna go ahead and say that Ducks will roll them 3-0.
All right.
Alrighty. Next up on Friday for EU is B, Genius, and Fnatic. 3-0 Fnatic.
3-1 Fnatic.
This is my lock. 3-0 Fnatic.
Ooh, Carl. Taking the easy route.
Yep.
He's
I'm at 11 points right now.
Needs to take some risks.
Okay, I
Calculated
respect
risks.
So, okay, once Charlie gets his pick in, I have a question for us.
3-1 Fnatic.
Okay, now if any of us at any point hit negative points because we really, really suck at making lock picks, should that person with the lowest negative point total have to like do something stupid on the camera?
I think we should have to, like, the winner should get something and the loser should have to do something for the winner. That's how I think we should end up.
Well, no, I mean just whoever is that.
Oh, as long as they're in negative points?
Yes. It's like that poor sap in Jeopardy. Like, one guy has like $50 million, the next guy has like 20 million, and got that poor schmuck at negative 1,000.
Oh my goodness.
Me accidentally making it onto Jeopardy? Yeah.
There you go.
Like, should someone have to like a punishment?
We'll figure it out. We have to figure it out.
Okay.
I've still got 11 points.
Yeah. It's not that bad. Things aren't that dire for Carl yet. They will be, but we'll get there eventually.
Got a couple weeks till I'm there.
Yeah, there we go. So moving on to Saturday in EU, Synergy and Misfits. Misfits is looking really strong right now. I think they 3-0 Synergy in this series.
No, they're not going to get 3-0'd. Synergy will actually come out swinging this time. Synergy, I've got Misfits winning 3-2.
Willie, quick question. In your Fnatic, did you say 3-1 or 3-0?
3-1
versus B Genius. Okay, I
said 3-1.
Got it. Carl?
The Synergy versus Misfits. I think EU teams in general have more 3-0s, 3-1s. There seems to be more disparity between the teams, and Misfits is really strong, so I will think it'll be a 3-0 in favor of Misfits.
Exactly what Carl said.
There we go.
I feel the same way.
Team Dignitas and Team Expert. This is going to be my lock of the week, with Team Expert winning 3-1 over Dignitas.
Ooh.
I love
you just crapped on your team, Charlie.
No,
I said they're going 3-1.
3-1 with a lock.
Oh, with Expert? With Expert?
Yeah.
For Expert?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I heard Dignitas. My bad. No, I'm going to continue the hate train. 3-1 Dignitas. if I hadn't burnt my lock on the Naventic hate, I would have burnt it here just for the Charlie.
I believe in James Baker. I think it's going to be Dig 3-2, but I do think Expert's going to look strong in this game. I don't expect them to suddenly fold against high quality teams.
Expert 3-2. I don't feel confident about it, but I gotta keep riding my team. This is going to be their toughest matchup, though. Mm-hmm. So if they're going to win, they're going to do it here, and it's going to be close.
Well, they get to end Saturday and start Sunday as they play Fnatic. So Team Expert versus Fnatic. I am going to put that at 3-2 in favor of Expert. Zex?
3-1 Expert. I think they're just stronger than Fnatic right now. Fnatic's not playing up to their potential, and they need to get it together in a hurry.
Carl?
I'll say 3-2 Expert.
Expert coming off hot from last night, winning 3-2. They just show up in 3-0 Fnatic Expert. 3-0.
There you go, Charlie.
Good.
With the faith.
There you go. And then
I haven't been wrong yet.
To close out EU, it's going to be Tricked Esport and Synergy. Jeez, this is a tough one to really go with, but I would say Synergy.
Which dumpster is on fire?
I know which dumpster is on fire at this point. I'm gonna go 3-1 Synergy.
I think Synergy has less biohazard material in their dumpster fire. Synergy 3-0 over Tricked.
I think this is Trick's one win of the season. 3-1.
3-1. Yeah, this is gonna be a battle of nothing. I can't believe this closes out the week. What a garbage way to end that. Synergy 3-0. I
That's probably what's going to happen. I feel like Trick has to win at some point.
Well,
You would think.
And I already said
Yeah,
they'd get wrecked by Ducks, so that was their other chance to win.
So that is the pick segment. We'll
Yeah.
check in on the leaderboards next week with the locks and everything. It should be fun. We'll see how this goes throughout the season.
Yeah, most definitely. And, as always, you can always message us your thoughts at Heroes Powerhour on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be moving on now to what might have been the buggiest patch that Blizzard has ever released for Heroes of the Storm. They did release a patch last Friday fixing almost everything, because being a little bit behind the scenes, I see the players in HGC Open panicking over what is banned and what's not, because at one point last week, I think Artanis, Ragnaros, I forget who else, but there were like 3 or 4 heroes banned. It would have been absolutely
Zul'jin.
crazy. Zul'jin, yeah, I think. But yeah, this patch did come out just in time, and I think it saved EU HGC Open from being a total disaster. So we do have this patch with a bunch of balance changes and all sorts of crazy bug fixes. Like the bug fix list is like probably the longest we've seen in a while. They did fix the rooster race, so it's not hot garbage anymore, thankfully. And then Ragnaros is getting some much needed adjustments, basically across the board. Damage and health being reduced a small amount. Blizzard wants to adjust the dial very carefully, well, just to make sure that they don't make Ragnaros complete garbage.
He's still pretty good.
yeah.
I think he could use
Oh, yeah.
another nerf of this strength, and he'd be in tune.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad they didn't just dumpster him.
Yeah, for sure. And then in the traditional Blizzard,
Ragnaros should feel
Okay.
just to throw
Yeah,
this out.
yeah,
there,
go for
Ragnaros
it.
should feel like he can do a lot of damage.
Oh, I agree. It's
Yeah.
just
Freaking Ragnaros, come on.
gotta be
Like,
careful.
Yeah, no, he was a little overtuned, but I'm glad it still feels like he does damage. I think that probably one of the bigger things that will help him feel more normal is a reduction in that cauterized wounds.
Yeah, I mean, through the first 2 weeks of HGC, I think both between EU and NA, we saw basically Tastar and Ragnaros were always first rotation pick and ban going through all the games.
With Artanis in the mix, too.
Yeah, Artanis was in the mix as well.
It was just those 3, basically. You banned 2 of them and first picked the other.
Mm-hmm. And
With
in
occasionally a Malf.
Yeah, definitely. Malf gets in there every so often as far as bans. But in traditional Blizzard fashion, to try to fix a hero's heroic pick usage, Thrall's Earthquake Slow is getting reduced, as well as Sundering's cooldown being reduced. So, will we see more
Have we
Sundering?
ever gone 2 months without a Thrall ult change?
It seems like every week something's changed on this, I swear. No,
Let's see,
I
there was
think you're
beta when he came out.
right. Really digging deep there.
Yeah, because then they nerfed Wind Fury and left him alone for a bit.
Mm-hmm. And then the health changes came, and all of a sudden Thrall's like super good.
Yeah, ever since they implemented the scaling changes, Thrall has been a nightmare to balance, apparently.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is probably a spot where they're equally good at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think players will always have a perception. You'll always see, everybody's running Earthquake, so Earthquake's the better ult. But there are times when you want a Sunder, and there are times when you want an Earthquake.
I think
And
with how
learning-
bursty the meta is getting, I think Sundering will start to creep up a bit more.
Yeah,
Isolate that target, blow them up, and you're fighting 5v4.
because it's still a long-range stun that can hit multiple heroes. You know, it's a very powerful ultimate. on a 70-second cooldown.
Mhm.
So it's just,
It's almost up every team fight.
yeah. I mean, it really should be, unless you're just dying early game and running back to an immediate team fight. So
It's going to make him feel better on certain maps, definitely. Because right now, Earthquake was so strong it was hard to get away from it.
yeah,
A full 10-second reduction is pretty big, and especially with the recent changes to Earthquake, too, a little bit.
if your teammate picks Thunder, don't flame them.
Yeah, please
Right.
don't.
Yes, please, come on. Especially if you're like on Dragonshire or something, where Earthquake is okay, but
Yeah.
Sundering can be made a case for isolating somebody and blowing them up when they're split up too.
True.
Things like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and wow, Zul'jin getting a ton of nerfs. I feel like I didn't read all these changes, so I'm not entirely
Well,
sure what changed.
They're not all nerfs.
Yeah, you're right. They aren't all nerfs. Guillotine getting a huge cooldown reduction. In the same vein of Blizzard fixing or trying to fix heroic usage by just reducing the cooldown for the other heroic that's not used by an astronomical amount. You get 3 guillotines for every 1 Tazdingo.
Yeah. The thing is, Distingo will be up for every team fight, but Guillotine will be up for every skirmish. So you can be 1v1ing somebody bot lane and ult them and not worry about it with this cooldown, which is something not every hero has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Poke comps always have their place in certain points of the meta, and Guillotine will be the kind of thing you would want if you're running a poke comp. But yeah, when you're relying on winning the big team fight and taking control of a big objective, you kind of want Tastingo, especially since it sets up his trait so well.
Yeah, it really does. It looks like a good variety of talents, though, getting actually quite buffed. Bone Slicer, Arcanite Axes, and You Want Axe. All
You Want Axe
receiving
was
changes.
nerfed.
You Want Axe is nerfed. Yeah, that is correct. So the damage bonus got reduced by 0.25. Let the Killing Begin. The buff duration reduced. So a lot of changes, just all kind of up and down. Wrong place, wrong time at level 7. Damage increased. Voodoo Shuffle. I love that talent, actually. Level 13. Got its cooldown reduced by 15 seconds, so it's up even more off now. It's up that actually is in line with the reduction for Guillotine. They're both 30 seconds now. I wonder if that's on purpose necessarily.
I think it's the same kind of accessibility. A 45-second cooldown is in that awkward zone where you can probably use it in a skirmish, but it might not be up for a team fight. 30 seconds, you can just throw it out whenever. 30 seconds isn't any time at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's the developer comment basically sums up the changes, unless you're a Zul'jin main and you're carefully reading over these to Theorycraft. They nerfed his basic attacks a little bit, and they buffed his ability talents.
Mm-hmm.
So I still think I'm going to play basic attack Zul'jin, but a couple of those W talents and stuff are better, just so, because you'll get people going to try out new builds and have fun with them, and I want to play Axe Zul'jin, and even though it's hard to master and may not be the most optimal, it's not going to be 30% worse than auto attack Zul'jin.
Right, you're not wrong there. There were some changes to Zul'jin, or I'm sorry, Zagara, who she just kind of got get your drinks and shots ready. Quality of life changes to her damage. She felt a little weak. She definitely fell off after her changes. You're not seeing her picked as often. But a friend of the show, Artifice, who is hosting sometimes when her schedule permits with us, but she played Zagara in a game this past weekend, and she did crazy good damage. So
she outdamaged Vala, just so you know, by 30,000.
That Vala probably had to be a little bad, but Zagara's numbers definitely seemed in line. And I think just upping that damage by 3 and putting the scaling up another 0.5% on Hunter Killer, she needs that. Hunter Killer was her main
Hunter
tool.
Killer does such great poke.
Yeah, it also kept her alive because people couldn't jump on her all the time. So she got some movement speed increase on her traits. And her endless creep movement was brought up on 20 to bring.
I feel like
changes in
Zag needs a ability rework. Again, just because the entirety of her damage is loaded into that Hunter Killer.
Yeah,
because Banelings are so hard to hit.
Baneling doesn't feel good.
The drop
now,
is so hard to hit.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to tune her in a place where Hunter Killer is absurd, because that's the only damage she gets out. So I don't know what they need to do, but I mean, the Baneling changes were trying to do that, because your roll of 4 Banelings was always useless, and now you can kind of fire out 2 of them and kind of get damage off.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. The car is an interesting spot, and we'll have to see how she does there. So Uther, this is very interesting because we haven't seen a whole lot of Uther lately, but he now is going to have a base of 10 armor. And well, that's nice. The juicy part is from the developer comments, where they say it's the first of few changes that they want to make to Uther, and they're attempting to ensure that he has a niche besides just bringing the divine shield. So this is their first step towards making him a tankier healer. I know, Balrog fan, you played a lot of Uther early on. What do you think about this change, and what do you hope they do to make Uther a more viable support going forward?
I mean, he needs changes. He's a bottom tier support in a pool of supports where you don't have a lot of supports. I mean, there's not a lot of supports in the game right now. So I want him to feel tanky. I want him to feel like he can be on the front lines healing. Maybe not doing damage so much, but I don't think as close as you have to be in, as much as you have to hit his skill shot currently to maximize his healing and be good with the 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons and everything. You don't get any reward for that. You have to do all that extra work just to be, a B tier healer. So if he's going to be that hard to play, cool. But give me a reward for playing that hard. Make him feel like, hey, I did all this stuff right. I'm awesome. My team's really benefiting from it. And it's not just going, Uther, where's the shield? Thanks for the shield. All right, go stand over there for 70 seconds while all your heals go off cooldown. You piece of garbage.
And the thing is, right now, the healers don't feel diversified. Like, you can look at the kits and see what Blizz wanted to do. Luther's supposed to be a burst healer. Rhaegar's supposed to be an AoE healer. Mal's supposed to be damage over time. But the way the heal it ends up being who can output the most heals. They're the best support right now, and everybody else is garbage. So I'm glad that they're trying to make him a tankier frontline support, so that you pick Uther not because his healing numbers are the best in this meta right now, but because I want a tanky support in this composition because it makes sense. So I think that's just going to make being a support man a lot more fun.
I just want a lumberjack in my composition.
Yeah.
That you do.
I mean, he's got the skin for it. He should fight like one.
Yeah.
I think Holy Paladins have a passive where they do more healing the closer they are to their target.
I definitely think Uther should be the skill shot sort of healer kind of person.
Yeah.
He's already got a tool for it. So yeah, reward me for doing those things. Don't just make me feel like I'm, struggling to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want, Jimmy.
That is what you want.
I wish I could just easy mode and pick Malfurion like you all the time.
I know, seriously.
I wasn't
right?
brought up that way.
Hey, you gotta land those roots at least. Come on.
That's true.
Come on,
True.
give me some credit.
Right. The radius is like the size of the entire.
Well,
area
when I pick the level 16 talent, it takes up 50% of the screen.
Yeah.
Malfurion.
Oh man, Artanis is receiving some changes as well. Very minor changes to the a lot of the talents here. I don't play enough Artanis to really know what exactly this is going to do to him, but it looks like minor changes to make sure he doesn't spiral too out of control in his win rate, which obviously through HGC we've seen him get really good because of that the swap on Q being enabled. I mean, that sets up some really disgusting plays, so it's not a surprise to see Artanis in the meta. I don't think any of us play Artanis though, but I mean, what do we think of this change real quickly?
It's one of those changes where they're nerfing good talents and buffing bad ones. I think it's a slight nerf to the normal build, but he probably could. I really like Artanis, but I never get to play him because of how his priority is. I would love Artanis to be in a spot where he's a valid pick, but not like first pick material, so I can get him when I'm third pick. But I don't know. He probably needs some more nerfs.
At the end of the day, he still has the swap. That was the big change.
Yeah.
They moved a lot of stuff around, changed him so he was doing more damage and everything. But at the end of the day, he now has that swap. That's the playmaker. That's that's why he's winning so much. That's why he's first pick, first ban material, things like that. Willie, you dabbled in Artanis, didn't you?
No.
Oh, I thought you did at one point.
I tried, but I'm really bad at landing swaps. So,
Ah.
and with his new and improved swap, which I will admit is a playmaker, I don't feel like putting myself behind a gate every single time I try to swap somebody, because it will happen. And I can't get from behind a gate with Artanis. I can get out from behind a gate with Chen. I can get out from behind a gate with Murden. Artanis is kind of stuck there. So
yeah, his mobility is definitely, I think, one of the more difficult things.
At some point, I'll put some in. Put some
time in now. He's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
I want to move on though to Diablo, because we do have Balrog fan who's a big Diablo player, and you said you played him some this week with the changes, and the changes don't hurt him too much. I think the big question though is, do you ever take Lightning Breath at this point because of the changes, or is it still APOC all day every day?
I've always thought there were spots for Lightning Breath. It's better now. The problem is, the teams Diablo fits really benefit from a well-placed APOC, so it's kind of hard to say. I might mess around with it in quick match and see if I can get some use out of it in certain maps. It's always nice where there are choke points where people have to fight and whatnot, or finishing off an immortal that they're trying to defend.
They work.
Yeah,
for the Oven of Doom.
Yep. Yeah, the space Oven of Doom. But right now they gave him a little better early game and took away some of his mid game. Basically, he was performing very, very strong in the 13 to 16 range, and now it's a little less, but he's still Diablo, so I'm happy.
I think the other big change was from the shadows. You don't get the additional stun time, but you also get a bigger range. Does that just make him that much scarier to play because you're going to get out of range pretty quickly, even more so, and not have that stun to kind of fall back on?
Not so much. I mean, you always want to. You're using that to set people up. Yeah, it sucks that you don't have the extra time on the stun, but you still get the stun if you set it up. So, I mean, 9 times out of 10, if somebody gives you that from the shadows and they get wall bounce, then you're probably, if your team's there, they're probably going to kill that character, or at least put them in a dangerous position where they need to utilize escapes and back off. So he's just not doing as much he's not as effective in doing as much damage in the mid game, which is fine, because right now he's a real tanky beast who sets people up to die. So
most definitely. Any other thoughts on Diablo before we move on? Or good?
Diablo's fun. I like Diablo.
Speaking of heroes that we haven't heard from in a while, Sonya got some really significant changes. I don't know if this necessarily brings her back to the meta, but this definitely makes her a niche pick on stuff like Infernal Shrines. I feel like it brings her back to being potentially a small pick there. Whirlwind damage is getting pretty massively buffed, over 100 damage buff increase over 3 seconds, and healing increased as well, and also tripled versus heroes. Is that new, or am I...
No, that's always been there.
Okay,
but it goes from 60 to 75% damage.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like tripled versus heroes before this patch. It was getting blown.
So her sustain is stronger. I think Sonya was still fine. So I think I've been seeing her a lot in my hero league, and she doesn't feel like, oh, Sonya's useless. She feels pretty good still. She's still. It's just even more of that identity of, if you don't stun her out of Whirlwind, she's not going to die.
Yeah.
When that's going. So
And I'm just happy to say that in the developer comments, they basically echoed what I've been saying about Sonya in that primarily they said Sonya has been steadily dropping to the bottom of our hero win rates, primarily because a lot of heroes fulfill her role slightly better, which has been the case, I feel like, over the past few releases as well. So it'll be interesting to see her again. I'll definitely play her. I do like that bruiser assassin role. A lot of fun. Back to the tanks though. Stitches, just getting health back, and always the developer comments with Stitches are always fun. Stitches come back to play. Stitches big scary monster, don't need armor, has lots of health. So I don't think this is enough to bring him back, but we'll see. What do you guys think? Zex, what do you think? Because you played Stitches a lot.
Yeah, that's a giant health buff, to be honest. I think that puts him at the biggest health pool in the game that's not Cho'Gall at the start.
He still has that like stack health on globes thing that can get you like 500 extra health or whatever.
Yeah, and that's still there, and that's a ridiculous amount of health. I don't know if this is enough to bring him back into the meta, but it's enough to make me go, okay, if my team's trying to escape, he can always just pop Bile and Body Block, and just eat all this extra damage that should be coming towards my teammates, while slowing down the other team. But, like, I don't know. I'll have to see how the pros think, to be honest, but, like, I would honestly give him consideration. Because helping Hook is, honestly, a really good escape tool for everybody. Especially since it can pull people over walls. It's like an Artana swap in reverse, essentially.
Yeah. And just a reminder for people watching HGC that might not be aware, but they're using the Zul'jin patch through next week. So I imagine this patch that came out Friday will be for week 4 of HGC. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I think that's where we'll land. And as well as Zarya getting changes, and we'll forever have the grenade sound in our ears because of Caterpillar. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you missed that game, it was it like 4 or 5 minutes straight of just hitting Q?
Yeah,
I swear.
they were level 20, and they were all just like dancing around the turn-in, and he had that level 20 talent where all the charges get returned at once, so he just, every second, he dropped a grenade.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. I'm like, oh, so that's how you play Zarya at 20 now. Okay.
Yeah.
Just face roll the Q button.
Yeah, but
put a rock on it.
Yeah, put a rock on it. There you go. Like Lily, right?
Yeah.
Lily and Zarya play the same way.
There you go. But yeah, her just attack damage gain slightly nerfed across the board. Particle grenade gain dropped, and the energy gain from regen on the level 1 talent maximum charge being dropped a little bit. Tons of bug fixes. Do we need to talk about any of these? I think there
were a lot of bug fixes, but they finally fixed them. There was like a Reddit post with all of these listed, because we were like, there are too many bugs in the game right now. This is bad. But they fixed it.
The big scary one, I think, was Ragnaros's, where they fixed an issue that made it possible for Powerhour Sulfurious to basically cast twice. That was a boatload of damage. But yeah, that is it for the brand new patch on Friday. Lots of bug fixes, lots of fun stuff to dig in and try out with the buffs and nerfs. But that's going to bring us to the end of our episode tonight, episode 91. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the Heroes Power. Make sure to stay tuned and stay tight, because we will have our play matches with the viewers and our patrons immediately after the show. So stick around for that. Make sure to join channel BlizzPro in game to check it out. Then a huge shout out, as always, to Blizzard for featuring us on the launcher. We really appreciate that, and numbers are definitely pretty big tonight. Lots of people chatting, so we super appreciate you coming and checking us out. We do have a Patreon as well, patreon.com/heroespower. Helps support the show. Make sure to check that out if you're interested in helping out our show. And as always, check out BlizzPro.com, especially heroesofthestorm.blizzpro.com, as our robot Alebeard puts up articles almost instantly as soon as Blizzard announces them. So you can get all your latest Heroes news there, as well as strategy articles and build guides as well. And for past episodes, make sure to check out youtube.com/BlizzPro. And if you're interested in other Blizzard games, Check out the other BlizzPro.com network shows. Wednesdays at 6 Pacific is West March Workshop for Diablo. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Pacific is Payload Podcast for Overwatch, which I'm a part of as well. Sundays at 7 p.m. Pacific is Well Met for Hearthstone. And check us out all week at discord.blizzpro.com. Come in there and chat with us, and we usually use that for voice chat during our post-match games. And that's going to be our show. Let's get some closing thoughts. So any shout-outs, Powerhour fan? Where can people check you out? What are you up to in the streaming world?
Yeah, you can check me out, twitch.tv/BallrogFan. I'm currently speedrunning both Shining Force and working on Mega Man Progression for speedrunning there. I have a lot of fun with it, so come check me out. We have a pretty active community. Looking up the numbers, so as always, anybody interested in learning either of those games, I'd gladly help out. And yeah, that's what I'm up to.
Most definitely. P-Flame G, how about you?
I'm going to continue seeing how far I can tank my Hero League MMR this week.
Zex, how about you? I know you're speedrun.
Yep, shout outs to myself. You can find my new channel at Zexrus Heroes. I'm running Shining Force, or not Shining. Damn it, Charlie! I am running.
How am I responsible for your mental missteps?
You, it's just
you, sir.
I'm running Phantasy Star 4, probably my favorite RPG of all time. And I will probably start streaming. I know I'll be streaming tomorrow. Whenever I play Heroes at night, I'll probably stream on the same channel. Again, that's Zexrus Heroes. But I want to shout out you guys. We're 91 episodes in. This is our 91st episode. And we haven't caught fire yet. Somehow. We're still going.
It's true.
And it's great.
We keep plugging along.
We're still alive.
We did
somehow.
make Quiz quit the game.
Mm-hmm.
But
We did.
The podcast lives on.
Yeah.
I made people.
3 people. We made 3 former hosts quit this game. So
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
pretty good.
Make sure to follow me at DJ Tyrant on Twitch and Twitter. I should be casting HGC Open number 2 for North America next Monday night around 7 p.m. Pacific. But other than that, I think that's it, and we will get into our post-game shows. This has been episode 91 of the Heroes Power. Thank you guys for checking us out, and we'll see you in the Nexus. Make sure to stay tight.